Alrighty, going to do a video on SpawnTable. Um, basically, let me go over here and let me come out of this for a minute. Okay, basically, a lot of people, when you want to get your mobs on your map, and let me go ahead and bring up a map, show the recent map I had on my server. So you can get an idea of what goes on. Okay, in here, all these little yellow dots, this here are mobs, and you can generate this map on your server by, I forget the command. It's, if you type in /help, you can see the command. It's something pound creatures or something like that. Excuse me. But basically, when you have mobs generate, I'll show you a little thing here. You'll notice like the mobs are through here, and then when it gets near the coastline, you see a lot more cluster of mobs. Now what this is this is basically how the table works. And you know, a lot of these, you can't see the color of my map here, but these would be around clay area, reed, to you know, all the different bio or tile types going around, sand tile, stuff like that. Because you can see right here with my mouse around in here, if you can see the mouse thing there, this area right here that I'm hovering over has less mobs than say this area right here. So this area right here automatically lets me know that this, if I look on the map online, I'll be able to see that that's actually like a clay area or a sand tile. As for right here, this is just dirt going around, so you won't see as many creatures. And this stuff right here is basically done by telling the mob what type of tile they can spawn on. Now you can go in and you can I'm going to shut this down. Well, before I do that, I'll show you. As you can see, the water, there ain't many creatures. This is the only thing I still haven't looked into. As you can see up north, all the sea creatures are spawning up north, and there's not much spawning down below that. You get one here and there, and that's something I gotta look into. But anyway, let's go back here. A lot of people spawn these in with excuse me, I hate, every time I talk I start yawning. But anyway, most people are trying to spawn the mobs in with dens. Now they're okay, but what happens with a den is it'll make a cluster, and X amount of mobs will spawn around that cluster. And that's not the way you really want to put this in. You want the mobs to randomly spawn on the map based on a tile type. And then you have certain mobs, if you run in a PvE server and you want to put hyenas on your map, well, hyenas are not a regular PvE server mob. So therefore people want to put a den in to get them to start spawning on the map, and that's not how you want them, because you want them to randomly spawn on the map, all over your map, not just in a cluster. And basically, to do this, you want to alter the spawn table. But you want to create your own spawn table. You really don't want to alter their spawn table, but you have to. So go about the normal pattern of you know, recreating their spawn table. But the thing you're going to want to have to do is, you can see right here, I've got a little note showing where I removed the final. Now, like I've said before, you cannot pull anything from a final class. You cannot pull anything from a private, because they're basically treated as private classes. So what you'd have to do is create the spawn table file again, and the only thing you want to change in theirs is their private files. Excuse me. Damn it. You want to change their private and final stat. You know, you want to turn private to public, and you want to take the final off of the public final class spawn table. You want to take the final off of it, so it would just be public class spawn table. You'll remove the private from the spawn table method, and you know, from the add tile type, and then the rest of it was pretty much public, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so basically it's just these three. You want to change these three right here. You want to change these two to public and remove the final off the spawn table. Once you do that, then basically you'll recreate the same map. Now there'll be some changes you want to do. As you can see right here, first of all we have this list. What this list here does, this tells the mob that it can spawn on the map. That's what this does. Okay, that's all this does. This static void creature encounters, this is the mobs that can spawn on the map. This down here where it starts getting into encounter type grass ground equals new encounter type, which is tile grass ID. This right here is basically telling it what type of tile it can spawn on. These numbers right here, basically you'll have like each one is two lines of code for each mob. As you can see, the highlight here, we have encounter scorpion single, and we're going to equal it to a new encounter, and it's going to be called scorpion single dot add type creature template ID 59, which is the scorpion's ID in the template creature's template IDs, and then number 3. What the number 3 means is how many you want to spawn when it pops. When it goes to spawn that creature on a tile, that's how many you want it to spawn. Okay, so sometimes when you've seen some mobs spawn in 4, some spawn in 3, some spawn in 1, some spawn in 2, that's where that number here comes in. Like for example, lava spider multiple. As you can see, we have 2 of these. We have 2 of these same encounters spawning the same lava spider. If this one hits, it's going to spawn 10. If this one hits, it'll spawn a single lava spider. And basically, that's what those numbers represent. Your creature ID, and then how many mobs you want to pop whenever it spawns that encounter. Down here on the grass tile, it's a little bit different. And I'll explain this here in a second, this bit of information here. Let's start at the bottom right here where it says if this server is a local server dot is challenge server. What this means is if it is a challenge server, then we're also going to spawn the crawler and the Utacha. And the chance is 1. Now what chance down here, it don't mean the same as numbers up there. Chance down here is the chance that it can spawn. The higher the chance, the more it's going to, the higher chance it has to spawn when it clicks. And basically, as you can see right here, we got encounter type grass ground, and it's going to equal a new encounter type, and it's going to be called tile dot, and we're going to grab the tile dot tile class dot ID byte 0. Byte 0 goes up here to add tile type, and byte 0 is elevation equals 0. Let's see, we got right. Well, wait a minute. No. Yeah, that's right. Basically, 0 is land. Right here is a land tile. 2 is deep water tile. 1 is a water tile. 3 is flying. 4 is flying high. -1 is caves, and beach is 5. That's where those numbers down there on that byte code come from, because this is a byte code right here. But that's what it means. So like when we come down here and we say grass tile, this is a land tile. 5, which 5 is dun, dun, dun. Oh, yep. 5 is a beach tile. So when we come down here and we look at the sand ID, byte 5, which stands for byte 5 is beach tile, and we're calling the tile.tile sand.id, which is a texture. So whenever it spawns on this, and it's going to be called beach side, which is this name right here, As you can see, it highlights right here. It highlights them. If you can see it on your screen, these are highlighted in like a light green. So this encounter beach side, and then we add the encounter on beach side, which crab single, chance of 8. Beach side add encounter tortoise single, chance 1. And then here challenge server. So if you wanted this crawler or this Utacha to spawn up here, all you technically have to do is pull it out of the if statement. So you can get rid of the if statement if you wanted to, and then just take these two and put them in with this statement here just by sliding it up, and you can get rid of the if statement. But you don't want to do this on their spawn table. That's why you create your own, because you want to alter your own. And basically, as you can see here, I added a bunch of new mobs in here: spiders, cows, bulls, stuff like that. And then down here you see my encounter list is a lot longer. There is no encounter list for snow tile, but I added like a snow spider, so I had to create this encounter type for snow ground, which is going to equal, the snow tile, which is byte 0, which is land, and then so forth. Then, if you want it, like I added here on the beach side, I added crawlers and the cobra and the seal, the anaconda, and the gorilla. So I wanted all these to actually spawn on the beach side. As you can see on mine, I took away the if it's a challenge server, whatever. When it came to Iceland, I just left this in here. But technically, I don't need this bit of code right here. I could delete it or I can leave it. It really don't matter. And then like right here, local server, challenge server, I don't want the Utacha, so I never put it in. I just leave it in its if statement and go on. But as you can see, you can just go in here and you add it for each tile what you want the mob to spawn on. So if you, like you see here, I've added gorillas, skeletons, wargs, hyenas, and all the new mobs that I put in the game. So basically, I'm telling them on a tree tile, this is the chance they have to spawn, and this is what I want to spawn if it's a tree ground, which is a tree tile, which is any grass tile with a tree on it. Then we got here clay. I wanted seals, cobras, anacondas, and crocodile single to spawn there, and a chance of 10, chance of 5, a chance of 1. Then we got sand. I wanted these to spawn on sand, so I added what was not there, I added there, and all the way down to the bottom. Then you got like right here lava creatures. You can have whatever lava creatures you want to spawn on lava, but unless you add the code in so lava creatures don't take damage, you don't want those in there. And I can't remember, did those actually exist on the original? Yes, they did. So there is a problem with that. I'll go ahead and explain this problem right here. You'll have to code these in, otherwise they're going to die. Lava spiders, lava creatures, which is the lava fiend, they take damage on lava. They're not immune to lava, so you're going to have to code those in if you want those creatures to spawn there. What I would recommend doing is removing those until Code Club either if they decide to remove or code it in so they don't take damage, or you code it in yourself. Otherwise, you'd want to remove those, because anytime you have a volcano and these mobs are going to spawn on that tile, they're going to instantly die. They're going to leave a corpse, and that corpse is going to eat RAM until that corpse vanishes. Every time that mob spawns on lava, it's just going to sit there and die. This is an issue I saw on my server, and I've brought it up on the forum. So Retrograde is going to check on that with the devs and see if that's something they wanted to happen or whatnot, and whether they fix it or remove this part right here. But as you can see, they're supposed to spawn on lava, and if they do spawn in your volcanoes, all you're going to do is have a ton of corpses. So unless you know how to code that in like I did, I would recommend just removing those so they don't spawn on lava tile. Add them to a different tile, because there is some maneuvering to get those to actually spawn on a lava tile and not take damage, because there are certain things you want to be able to call from the creature template creator. And well, anyway, I would just comment them out for now until they fix it, or if you know how to do that. But other than that, as you can see, cave IDs, you can put what mobs you want to spawn in caves. So if I wanted my black rats to spawn in caves, I could add black rats to underground caves. Since I already have black rats up there, it's as simple as going underground dot add encounter, and then I can say I can't remember what I called them. Was it large black rat? I'm gonna look through here. I know I got them in here. I just don't remember what I called them offhand. Let me narrow the list down. Rat. Wait a minute here. Did I even add those in here? I could have swore I added those encounters in here. Oh. No wonder. This is not my file, and I don't want to do this. Let me go to my file. Yeah, red large rat, black large rat. Okay, so as you can see, I added them up here in my list. Right here, they're up here somewhere. They're in here. Large rat, red, black. Yeah, see, I added them on my list, so it's not going to show on their list. It'll actually show on mine. But as you can see, I put them in here for underground. And of course, I fixed my issue, so I can leave the lava creatures spawning on that. If I wanted to, I could actually, because I did the hellhounds, the hell horses, and the hell scorpion can walk on lava too, so I could actually add those to spawn in volcanoes too if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave them as lava spiders and lava creatures. But this is basically what you want to do. And this right here, basically you set the chance of the chance that you want it to be able to spawn, and up at the top you set how many you want to spawn in each encounter when it pops them, and down here you set the tile that you want it to spawn on. And that way, whenever you do spawn them in, or when the system is actually spawning mobs and calls to spawn that mob, when it does the mob check to see if there's enough of them, if it ain't met its cap yet, and it hadn't met the cap of the server yet, and it hadn't met the cap of the aggressive or the non-aggressive, and it starts to spawn that, it can pop that in on that tile. And this is, like I said, I don't need dens to spawn zombies or skeletons or wargs or hyenas or gorillas or crawlers or soul demons on a PvE map. I just need to put them here, and then they'll naturally spawn around the map and be more even than if you spawned them with a den, because when you spawn them with a den, basically they're going to spawn around a radius. Now, another thing that you might want to do, it helps my map a lot, and it's right here. Every creature, you're going to notice I put this number 8 on. Now what this number 8 is, if we go down here to creature types, and I probably got it on this other one. Yep, right here. So let me bring this over here. Number 8 is global move. Now the only animals that have global move are uniques. So basically, all the other mobs have local move. Every one of them have local move, but uniques have global move. So in order to get my mobs to move globally, so I don't want them to just stay in one spot. When I have and some of the things I've noticed is, and I think I've told it in another video, is like when I followed a goblin one day. This goblin, he walks for around 90 some tiles in one direction, stops. Then he looks around, he walks over to the water, because he stopped probably about 8 tiles from water, walks over to the water, steps out into the water about 5 tiles. Now they do have swim code on them as well, on my mobs, so they can actually go out there and swim if they wanted to. Then he decides he's going to go back, so then he walks back a couple of tiles on the land, then he heads in a different direction and then starts walking in a different direction. So it's, when they're local, they don't move that far away. So this way, when they all have global code, they can spread out and they don't stay in a bunch. that's one thing you might want to do is put some global code onto your mobs, so when they roam, they can roam around and not stay in one little area and get too much piled up. And when you have the spider dens, I left the dens normal, but any den that I actually added when I started actually using the spawn table, I removed those dens, because all it does is just clutter up an area. And then if people want to find that animal, they just got to go to that area. But if you, like, let's just say, maybe you want gorillas to be around the map but not all over the map, so you tell them just spawn on sand tiles, or tell them to spawn on tar tiles. So anywhere there's a tar tile, you might find gorillas. Or if peat, or maybe you want them to spawn. You wanted gorillas to spawn in the what you call it, the moss. So you create the moss tile, because the moss tile is not in here. So you create the moss tile, and then you tell them to spawn on moss, which would be nothing different than just coming in here somewhere and saying encounter, and we'll call it moss ground, and we're going to have it equal a new encounter type, and we're going to have it equal, let's see, what in the world? Yeah, I don't want all that. Don't need to put that whole string on the end. And I'm going to say, let's see. Actually, I don't need all that either, so I'm just going to say tiles. There it is. So I'll just say tiles dot tile. Wait a minute. That's right. I don't need tiles. I just need tile. My bad. Tile dot. Then I just find a tile that I want them. If I want them to spawn on grape bushes, wherever there's grape bushes, I can put them to spawn on grape bushes or camellia bushes. It don't necessarily need to be a floor tile. It just needs to be a tile that specific thing. Cave tile. Make them spawn on. Let's see. Yeah, you don't want spawn on wall. I can tell them to spawn on any tile that's cobblestone northeast, or any tile that's cobblestone northwest. So anytime there's a tile that's cobblestone northeast or northwest, whatever I put it on, those mobs will spawn off of that tile and that type of tile only. So it's what you can do. You can tell them to spawn only on packed dirt. So maybe you got a packed dirt monster, and you put it in your server, and every time someone leaves a packed dirt tile, a packed dirt monster can come out and spawn. Enchanted, maybe on an enchanted tree tile, enchanted grass tile, kelp tile, gravel, grass, field 2, field 1, lava, lawn. Maybe you want them to spawn on lawn tiles, marsh tiles, marble slab. You pick the tile that you want them to spawn on. So I'm just gonna do the moss, because I talked about moss. And then after that, we got to put the rest of our information. So we got a byte, and that byte is going to be 0 for a land tile, and then we close our statement right there. And let's see here. What's it saying? I don't think I actually need that piece in there. Put that there for a minute. What do we have here? What did I miss? Apply to. Where's it can? Oh, the .id. And once you have that, let's see what we got here. Compatible types required. Zones, encounter zones. And what we got here? Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second here. Oh, no. Nope, 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 nope. That's right. I got the wrong one right here. This should be a type at the end here. Yeah. Get off of there. Okay, that's why. I had encounter instead of encounter type. And then once you do that, then you want to add your tile. Um, and this actually needs to go up here. So I'll add my tile, and it's going to be tile type, and my tile type will be what was it? Moss ground is what we called it. Moss ground. And then in here, I can sit down and I can add. I can say moss ground dot add encounter, and then I could say yellow spider, and we're going to give it a chance of 3, and that's basically it. So now on a moss ground tile, we're going to have an encounter. The yellow spiders will be able to spawn on moss ground tile, and there'll be a chance of 3. And I'm going to leave that there because that sounds pretty cool. So yeah, this is pretty much what you do, you know. So I'm just going to separate this. My code looks good. This is tiles section is separated, but that's how you do it right there. You basically just add the information in, add what tiles you want in right here, tell them where you want them to spawn. But you know, the standard spawn table, that is what they have the mob spawning on, and you could have them spawn differently. You can have, you know, all those different tile types that you have, and basically all those tile types are in the client under tiles. This is all the tile types, you know. Of course, you wouldn't call the tile type a mine door or something like that, but basically tree, rock, clay, field, dirt pack, cobblestone. Then we got tree tiles, you know, lemon trees. Maybe you want trolls to spawn on lemon trees, so you put every trolls to be able to have a chance to spawn at every set of lemon trees. You know, basically that's what you're looking at. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and compile this out. I'll put it on the server at some point so yellow spiders can spawn on moss tiles. That'll be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you think, and have any questions, just let me know.